Hello and welcome to Forgotten Frights. I'm Josh and I'm sitting here with Adam.
Yog-Sothoth. Oh, hey, Josh.
Oh, hey, how's it going? Today on the podcast, we are watching the 1970 horror film The Dunwich Horror, directed by Daniel Haller, written by Curtis Hanson, Henry Rosenbaum, and Ronald Silkowski, and starring Sandra Dee, Dean Stockwell, Ed Begley, and Lloyd Bochner. The Dunwich Horror tells the tale of a young graduate student who is pursued by a man to use her for a ritual pulled right from a very evil book. Here's the trailer.
The nights are darker. And night is when it happens in the Dunwich Horror.
Come back, old one. Princes of darkness, and repossess the earth.
The Dunwich Horror, based on H.P. Lovecraft's terrifying tale of those who explore the unspeakable. Starring Sandra Dee, Dean Stockwell, Academy Award winner Ed Begley, Sam Jaffe. He believes the history of horrendipity written here. The love story of a girl looking to the future, and a boy dedicated to the mysteries of the past. He invokes the unspeakable.
Yog-Sothoth.
She invites it.
You're one of us now.
It's a depthless paradise of terror where fear eternal lives. And the dead come to life.
I've never heard anything like that.
All right, Adam, that was the trailer to The Dunwich Horror, 1970. What did you think?
It was very 70s.
Yes.
And honestly, the way the trailer was put together, it was way tighter than the movie.
Yes, I agree with that. Sorry, I'm adjusting this here. Yeah, the trailer is very, very 70s. The movie is very 70s.
Yeah.
It's very psychedelic, baby.
Yes. Yes, it is. Yeah.
I don't, and getting to later in the show, but I didn't hate that. I thought that was kind of, I thought it blended well with the Cthulhu mythos that was going on here. I think those two things complement each other well.
Yeah. I feel like this is a movie that they had minimal resources, and they did the best that they could with what they had. But it's also, given 50 years later, it's pretty easy to see that seemed like a pretty low budget flick.
Yeah. Which I think is interesting because if I'm not mistaken, was not Roger Corman involved with this film?
It could be.
I think yeah. So
wasn't he involved in all horror movies for a 30-year span?
Yeah, there was. Yeah, I woke up this morning thinking about Roger Corman, it was like raining out. It's very autumnal, so it's very the colors are really popping out. We're here at the end of September, and I woke up and I was thinking about Roger Corman. He woke me from my sleep, and he said, yes, the Dunwich Horror. What this movie needs more of is boobs. And I said, that's great.
That's
great.
a sweet spot.
But then I was trying to put together, because we have a little baby in the house running back and forth upstairs.
Kind of sounds like a spooky knocking. Just kidding. It's a spooky knocker.
It is. Well, Roger Corman.
Oh,
with
yeah.
Spooky Knockers.
That's one of his better movies.
Spooky Knockers. Roger Corman, is so heavily involved with all of those Edgar Allan Poe films. And like the, what am I thinking of? Is that Tales of Terror that has the black cat and the Case of M. Valdemar?
Is that Roger Corman?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
Because there's an interview.
He was involved with all the Vincent Price Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah.
Like the Oblong Box and the Tomb of Ligeia. Yeah.
So I saw there was a Vincent Price. I just bought Kolchak, the series. I sent you a picture of it yesterday. So the Darren McGavin helmed show. I watched the first episode, The Ripper, last night. Fantastic. I used to watch it on YouTube in like 640 when I first got into college. But right next to that was a Vincent Price collection. And I was like, I must have seen all these films by now. And there were like 6 films, 5 of which I don't think I've seen in either a long time or ever. And one of them was The Oblong Box, which I've never seen.
Yeah.
But I always thought, but anyway, getting back to Roger Corman, it's interesting to me that he was so vested in those Edgar Allan Poe and the Haunted Palace. He was starting to get into the Lovecraftian. And there just wasn't really the kind of the sexual nature that often comes with Roger Corman films. What is that? Lurkers from the Deep? Is that what that's called?
Humanoids from the Deep.
And that movie is just wall to wall.
Yeah.
Innsmouth.
Yeah. Yeah.
And lots of other things.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, interesting to me. But yeah, Roger Corman is also part of this film. So this movie is an H.P. Lovecraft adaptation. And it is, like The Reanimator and From Beyond. Lovecraft stories are known for the cosmic horror angle, which this movie has a lot of. And then Roger Corman was an executive producer on this film.
Okay.
And so he was like, I'm out of Edgar Allan Poe stories, so I need to start reading Lovecraft and putting that into films.
Huh.
And adding boobs. I don't know.
Question a little off topic or on topic, but what you were talking about before. I noticed when you showed me the Kolchak box set, there's something on there that's glow in the dark. Like, I love the fact that that's like I don't know if I want to buy this. Wait a minute. Glow in the dark. What's glow in the dark about it?
I think it's the case. I think the picture of Kolchak, like, it's Darren McGavin's face on the cover with a hat, and it says Kolchak the Night Stalker.
Yeah.
And I believe that glows in the dark.
That's cool.
But it does take me back to, like, physical media has been it's been definitely fun for me to just order and buy DVDs and Blu-rays to get away from streaming. But there's all these little weird things like on the boxes, and they'll say like, this movie comes with a behind the scenes featurette, and it's like 5 minutes long, and it's just like, this is how they made so and so, and then so it's cool. So, or it'll have on the cover, glow in the dark cover, like you need to buy it because of this. So yeah, I think that's cool.
I feel like I think I had I know I had the John Carpenter's The Thing on DVD many years ago when I still had DVDs, and they had like that DVD had I want to say it was like an hour-long behind-the-scenes documentary, and I actually watched it on YouTube not too long ago, and I'm like, hey, I used to have this, but I feel like they've really amped up like physical media, DVDs, Blu-rays. Like, if you buy a copy of Evil Dead, like it looks like the Necronomicon when the case does. I feel like they're really upping their game as far as the niche nerdy collectors who like, oh, I want this because it looks so cool, or the box is glow in the dark. I think that's cool stuff.
It is. I think it's really cool. I think it's neat that they're, because I don't know how much of that is like, we must get people to buy more physical media, or if it's just kind of like, here's this. It's like getting vinyl records now.
100%.
It's like getting a gatefold. It's like the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like, With that being said, this is based on a Lovecraft story. Would you like me to read the synopsis of the story before I give you taglines?
Yes.
In Dunwich, Massachusetts, the Whately family is shunned for its evil practices. Lavinia Whately gives birth to Wilbur, a monstrous child whose father may be something inhuman. Through the teaching of his grandfather, Wilfred Brimley. Wilbur studies forbidden texts, like the Necronomicon, to complete a ritual that will bring his monstrous twin brother into the world. His brother is the offspring of the cosmic creature Yog-Sothoth, As Wilbur grows older, he seeks access to the Miskatonic University's copy of the book, but is killed when his nature is revealed. Meanwhile, his unseen sibling wreaks havoc on the countryside. A team of scholars led by Dr. Armitage uses the Necronomicon to banish the creature, discovering in the process that the monster is Wilbur's brother, and that both are the children of Yog-Sothoth and Lavinia Wheatley. So really not that different from the movie we watched, except that there's more of a focus on the cosmic horror brother.
In the movie?
This is the story.
Well, I'm saying that I feel like the brother kind of got thrown in towards the end.
Yeah.
You know, for the longest time, the brother is just a door trying to open.
Rattling.
Yeah. He's a cosmic beast, but he's like, this doorknob is killing me. If only Dracula was here.
It's true. Christopher Lee was also an executive producer, but he didn't get much of a say. He was like, add more door action. Taglines. Are you ready, Adam?
Yes.
Tagline number 1. A few years ago, in Dunwich, a half-witted girl bore of illegitimate twins. One of them was almost human.
That's clunky.
It is. It was hard to say.
Yeah.
Number 2, second tagline, and the last. It's the most terrifying thing your eyes will ever see.
Man, it'd be interesting to find out how many taglines have some sort of, this is probably the scariest movie you'll ever see.
Yeah, because we just did Dr. Phibes, and Dr. Phibes claimed it's probably the scariest.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a good chance.
This movie says it is the most terrifying thing your eyes will ever see.
There's a 51% chance that this is the scariest movie you'll ever see.
Your brain does not think it's scary, but your eyes will behold.
Yeah.
Shock, terror.
You will think about it again eventually.
If you wanted to get more comfortable, you can always turn that microphone toward you if you want to sit back, and I've got a couple pillows back there for you if you want to lean back. Up to you. I don't want you throwing your back out before the second movie, and then we're both in pain. Let me know if there's anything else I can do to make that
all good.
Our new couch setup comfortable. We each have a couch.
Yeah.
So this is exciting.
Couch wealthy.
The Forgotten Frights development. We're getting couches now. 2 used couches that the cats have clawed up. All right. Are you ready to get into this film, Adam?
Yes, I am.
All right. I started with the title of this film is pretty crazy, but I think it's the title card. The title, or I should say the intro. This says the title, but it should say the introduction of this film is pretty crazy. I said very 70s with an eerie, groovy beat.
Yep.
Because it looks like something from like Disco 10 Commandments. You know, there's like there's like little silhouettes running on like I don't know, silhouetted horizons and things.
It's like animated.
Yeah.
And there's like
Christmas Vacation.
Yeah, sort of. But no, it's very late 60s, early 70s. Almost, I mean, it's not reminiscent of Monty Python, but it is like you got the caricatures running and it looks like they're running up a mountain or a hill, but it turns out to be a demon.
Yes, and I was trying to think what it reminded me of, and I think, Monty Python is probably the closest. I didn't get to the demon revelation. I just saw them running around, and I was like, interesting choice.
At the very end of the sequence, the demon, they realize that the 2 little black silhouettes realize it's a demon, and the demon picks up the girl one and then just pops him in his mouth. Just kind of throws him up like a potato chip.
I want to get to that and the treatment of women.
Toward
the end of this film.
Boy.
We'll get there. But before we get there, let's get to the treatment of another woman who, at the very beginning of this film, it opens on a woman writhing and writhing in the pain of childbirth. And she's in a bedroom. And there's 2 elderly women who are twins, I believe.
We never see them again.
No.
Right?
And then but they do ask about them later. And then she's let out of this room by an elderly man, or she is trying to give birth, and there's like the old man Waitley. Old Waitley is there.
Yes.
With his scepter.
He's carrying that thing all. It looks like a very ornate fly swatter.
When he shows up later in the film, and he's at like a supermarket, and he's got his scepter, and he's like assailing people.
Yeah, and they're all just kind of laughing at him.
I mean, who wouldn't? He looks like he's in like a Halloween costume.
I do like the addition of the. I'm not familiar with the story. I've never read the story, the Dunwich Horror, but yeah. I like the two old crones there because it feels more culty.
Yeah.
They're never explained. You don't know who they are, but it's like just two black-robed ladies who look sinister.
Yeah.
You know, I like it. It's a nice addition.
I think that's what works. The parts that do work in this film are the parts that are not really explored that much, as odd as that sounds. I think more movies need to do this more often, but it's just to give the little weird things in the background or the little weird moments. Just let them rest. We don't need to get in. They don't need to be self-referential later. They could just be a weird thing.
They never have to be referenced again. I appreciate that where it's just an odd thing that happened.
Yes.
You know, completely different movie, but I want to point out and I don't know if this is exactly the same through line, but the scene in Invasion of the Body Snatchers, late 70s, Donald Sutherland's running around like a madman because everybody's turning into pod people. And then I guess this doesn't make, no, never mind. Bad point. Bad point.
I mean, I'm trying to think if there's something in Invasion of the Body Snatchers that would be more to that. That seems very much like a movie that would definitely have that because it's of that era.
Yeah.
One of the things I was thinking of is Dr. Phibes. His taste in music. I know I was critical of it in the last episode, but never at any point does it it cuts to his past and he's like, before he gets in his car accident, it's like he really loved baseball music. You know, it doesn't have to, we don't have to know why he's playing that crusty organ music. It doesn't even.
Yeah, it'd be like showing him in better times playing the organ just for funsies.
And it doesn't we don't need that. He's just playing this crazy cacophony of noise.
Yeah.
It's like a trunk filled with, I don't know, hammers and nails, and he's just flailing it around. So after this scene where the woman is in pain, giving birth, I would assume is Lavinia Whately.
This is Lavinia, yes.
We cut to a college where Professor Dr. Henry Armitage and college students are exiting a university.
Miskatonic University.
Yeah, Miskatonic in Arkham. And the professor says very lately, hey, oh yeah, I love this because he's just like, hey, take this Necronomicon and put it back in the library.
I like that too. Just like, hey, it's the most rare book of all time.
The most
could you
evil
just
book.
When you're on your way home, just,
Hey, we put this in the mail slot or the book return slot at the library.
Put it in that unlocked aquarium that we have in the library.
And just knowing what we know of the Necronomicon, that's like, he's giving a book that's bound in human flesh. He's like, hey, would you slide this under the door for the librarian? It's just such an odd thing. So, of course, a college student, she says, who's played by Nancy, who's played by Sandra Dee, she takes the book and goes to the library with her friend, and I don't have her friend's name up right here. I know I get to it later. Is it like Elizabeth? Elizabeth. Her friend, Nancy and Elizabeth go to the library, and I said the creepiest man alive shows up, who's got like a horrible mustache. It's Wilbur.
I thought that was a fake mustache.
Is it?
I don't know, but there was a scene when they get back to the Whately estate.
Yeah.
And Wilbur puts his finger up next to his face, and I'm like, he's going to take that mustache off. And he didn't.
Takes it off and reveals another mustache that's real. It worked. He's like the creepiest guy ever. He's got a very soft voice. Everything he talks about is very like, it's I don't know, it's got undertones to it I didn't like. It gave me the heebie-jeebies.
And he's got like curly hair and he's got a really weird fake looking mustache.
Yeah.
But yeah, very soft spoken.
Yeah. Hey, is that the Necronomicon? Can I read it? It's like, can you leave me alone?
And Nancy is she's mesmerized by his eyes.
Yes. Yeah, so he has the ability he's got the vampire ability, the glamoring. Is that what that is? When you stare, they stare and hypnotize, in this case, women, and subjugate them.
Well, Elizabeth is like, what are you doing? And she's like, oh, his eyes. So she Nancy says, here, you can read the Necronomicon here in the library.
He's like, thanks. I'm going to go do that now.
Yeah.
Bound in human flesh, huh? And Elizabeth is like, why are you wearing a fake mustache? You leave me alone. So Wilbur gets the Necronomicon in the private, and he says, Yog-Sothoth, the second time a character has said that in Forgotten Frights history.
Well, he's reading through it, and just, it's clear that as he's, thumbing through the Necronomicon, he's kind of reading how to bring back the old ones.
Yes.
And then Armitage, Professor Armitage, he shows up behind him.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember from the Haunted Palace, but that doctor that shows up about 3/4 of the way into the film, who ends up being like the protagonist of the film, more or less.
Okay, yeah.
He at one point is sitting there, and he's like, he says like, "Oh, you want me to like believe all this nonsense and Cthulhu and Yog-Sothoth?" And he just like, but he just clearly didn't want to be saying, like, he read the script and he's like, "Oh God."
Well, they referenced the Necronomicon in that movie as well.
Oh yeah, I don't remember. I just remember the adorable little Cthulhu baby that's in the well that they open up, and Bryce is like, yeah, that's about it.
It was just an offhanded thing. They never like use it as a physical prop.
Okay,
but they do talk about it a little bit. It feels like the Haunted Palace. They tried to force quite a bit of the different stories, different story elements in that.
Yeah, because I think they eventually settled on, because I think Roger Corman was going to. He was going to do like a Lovecraft series. I think he was going to start doing more of that because he was done with Poe.
Yeah.
But the studio was like, no, we need more Poe because it's so successful. So he already had this Lovecraft story, The Haunted Palace. But Edgar Allan Poe had like a poem called The Haunted Palace. And so it's very like shoehorned into this Lovecraftian.
All right.
I think Vincent Price reads part of the poem at the beginning and he reads part of it at the end. And it doesn't really have anything to do with...
Yeah.
It's not like, quoth the Cthulhu, I'm going to kill all of humanity, just...
Yeah.
But, so then now he's executive producer and he's like, oh yeah, let's do the Dunwich Horror. So Henry explains that... it's Henry Armitage. So I should write Armitage. Armitage explains that the Whateleys have a sordid past. He's talking to Wilbur. He's talking to him and he says, your Whateley family has a sordid past in this town and they've done evil and they've done wrong. And with that, Wilbur's just like, leave me alone. I'm out of here.
But Armitage wants the book back.
Yeah.
They put the book back in the aquarium.
Yes. And Armitage tries to warn Nancy, but she is under the glamoring effect of Wilbur.
Well, they meet for dinner. So you got Armitage, Wilbur, Nancy, and Elizabeth are all sitting at a diner, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And then in that setting, Wilbur asks Armitage again if he can borrow the book. And Armitage is like, no, you can't have the book. And so then Armitage leaves, and I forget.
That's what my note says that Armitage then just like warns Nancy, but she gives him a ride back to.
Well, yeah. So,
but I don't know how that happened.
Armitage and Elizabeth leave the diner.
Okay,
and they were going to go to the Whateley compound the next day for some reason, and I forget why that happens. But essentially, Wilbur misses his bus, and so Nancy decides to give him a ride to his place.
I didn't realize he was taking the bus into town.
Yeah, and he just missed the bus.
Okay, so he did it on purpose.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This guy.
Can you imagine driving a bus around and Wilbur gets on board?
Yeah.
Hey, I need to get to the museum.
Yeah.
Can you take me to Miskatonic? Not really. Is that the Whaley house up there? Is that where you came from?
Your shillings are all greasy.
Look at my eyes. Get in the back. Ugh. Why do you smell? Oh, yeah. So, I was going to say is he's got a really weird stare, and while he's doing it, there's like alien noises happening in the background. I don't know if you noticed that. It was like, ping, pong.
Yeah.
It's like all these like, I don't know if that's supposed to be like that's the cosmic horror of it all is you always have ping pong noises in the background.
I feel like, Lovecraft is the way that it's written, it's tough to figure out exactly what it is. So this is kind of an interesting way of the producer and director to be like, okay, I think this is what cosmic horror is, I guess, like.
Yeah, that's right.
So
that's right.
And plus, again, you can't sleep on the late 60s, early 70s psychedelic look and feel of this whole movie. It's very, I've never seen Jesus Christ Superstar, but I've seen enough bits and pieces where I'm like, it's very,
yeah.
I
think there is something, because there's something with Lovecraft stories that I align with, like bell bottoms and disco. I don't know what he wrote. All of these are written turn of the century. All these are like turn of the century, but there is something about, and I think it's got to do with me having watched so many 70s horror movies. Like you said, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Donald Sutherland has like lamb chops on the side of his face, and they're all wearing like kind of baggier suits, and it's professorial
tweed
in a way.
Jackets.
Yeah, tweed jackets.
Yeah. At the mountains of the roller disco.
Yeah.
This could be a whole new genre.
Yeah, I guess you could just tag disco, the color out of space, disco. You could tag that to anything.
100%, yeah.
But there's something about that. I don't know what it is. It's like the 70s. Texas Chainsaw Massacre has a lot to do with it, but the grotesque nature of the 70s to me, because it's so combative and violent, and everything is like, I feel like anybody could just be wearing a tweed jacket and then get ripped apart at any moment. Like everything is within that area for me for whatever reason. So it fits perfectly that Wilbur is like, he's got a big fake mustache on, but he's got crazy curly hair, and he is wearing I think he's wearing a tweed jacket, and he's got like bell bottoms, and he's like, hey, you want to hang out at my place? Well, he's more like, hey, want to hang out?
You want to watch me read this book?
Hey, that was far out.
I feel like the late 70s, actually mid to late 70s and early 80s, like, like the movies like filmed in New York. Yeah. And just how gritty and gross and like early Cronenberg, like Rabid and The Brood. I mean, those movies are very uncomfortable.
I think like Taxi Driver.
Yeah.
The movie smells.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, what's with Popeye Doyle, The French Connection?
Yeah, French Connection.
Very gritty, very gross movie.
Very gross. So it's anyway, long way to say it. I think Cthulhu fits right in here nicely.
Yeah, I think
it's a good Lovecraftian. It all fits, including like the racism and sexism of, the early pulp storytelling and the kind of xenophobia that Lovecraft had in his day.
He would have appreciated that.
I think he would have, but he was also just like, he's just like a scared dude who lived in his house, who's agoraphobic and didn't want to go outside. Like,
do the ladies have to talk so much?
And then he's like, I'm constantly sick. My immune system's so bad.
So Nancy and Wilbur are driving to. They're driving to Dunwich, and they stop at a gas station, and the guy's pumping the gas and cleaning the window, and then he recognizes Wilbur, and he's like, "Get out of here!"
Yeah,
and she's like, "I wanted the tank filled up," and he's like, "Get out of here!" So they drive away, and Wilbur's like, "They've always treated me this way. They've always treated me this way."
I love this. The passive anger of the townsfolk is another one of my favorite aspects. And when we get to the burial later, there's this great great moment with the townsfolk. But it does remind me, a haunted palace when you have all the people, the townsfolk of, the Innsmouth area. They're a lot more like volatile, I think, because they have like fish eyes and like webbed feet and stuff.
Yeah.
But there is something similar there. There's there's just that, whatever that vibe is of just like,
it's classic angry mob, right?
It is.
It's torches going to kill the monster. I mean,
this movie though it's so much more like passive and like,
like they're still living together. Like it's like it's all in the same community, but it's
they could be friends if they try.
I might shoot you though.
Yes.
I got this pitchfork for hay mostly.
Yeah.
But could be for you there, Wilbur.
If I get the wrong information today, you could die. Well, I could also invite you to a barbecue if you do something cool.
If they say the wrong thing during church.
Yeah, that's right.
Can't guarantee you're going to see Monday.
They end up going to the Whately Manor in Dunwich, and it's kind of Nancy's looking around, and then it cuts to like Wilbur's like disables her car and is like, I think he drugs her at this point, makes her like dizzy. The first of many druggings in this film.
He basically pulls a spark plug. I don't know what he does, but he pulls a hose out of her car, drugs her for the first of many times.
I just had a thought. And in putting the 70s with this kind of Lovecraftian horror, and maybe horror in general, but especially this kind of Lovecraftian horror, it's like culty. I think that's what I'm, there's so much like, it's very culty and like Manson family. Wilbur's very like Manson-y. He's very...
That crossed my mind as well.
Yeah.
So it's about the same time period.
Yeah, and it's got that kind of stank to it. He had
Beatles albums all over the wall.
He did. He's like, you want to hear one of my songs? He's like, oh, this is terrible. Yeah, but I'm working on it. My song's called The Green Submarine. Ugh. We have... Yeah, so she gets drugged. There's all sorts of weird visuals going on at this point. There's some trippy flashbacks from nightmares and hypnosis. I think this is where she's drugged, and I think this is where we get the first of that ritualistic altar that's up on the cliffside. And there's like people running through the fog and stuff like that. And it feels very stage play. It feels very like these actors might not have been paid for this scene. Like they just have like makeup on, but I do think it's effective. I don't know what you call what they did to mess with the filtering. Yeah. But the camera work is just it's like greens and reds and all this different color and psychedelic stuff and close up of people's faces, and it looks like some crazy orgy out in the field. Yes. And Adam, it's cool.
It's hot. It's super hot.
It is so cool. It reminded me of
not really at all.
No, it's ugly and grim.
It's really bad.
But it's cool. It's like, I think this is cool. I want the movie to be more like this.
Yep.
It reminded me of Zardoz, John Borman's Zardoz. And there is, in the beginning of that film, you have all the Brutals, Sean Connery's kind of group of people. They all wear the Zardoz. If you've never seen Zardoz, look it up. But Sean Connery's in like a red diaper, and he's got like a bandolier for his revolver, but he's wearing these like big Zardoz heads, and it's like foggy, and it's the way they shot it is very like it's what would you even call that? It's like an 88. Is that what I'm thinking of? The film. It's film stock is what I'm thinking of, but it's like Tarantino's. Darn, I'm just gonna keep forgetting everything. But it's like that Tarantino film where they're out in the snow. What am I thinking? The Hateful Eight. So it's got that like grainy film quality to it. It's foggy. And then you've got like the Brutals riding their horses. Very similar here, where you have like painted people running through the fog. And you're right. It feels local theater. People got paid in lunch, maybe.
Yeah. It's daylight too.
Yeah.
Which it's not even trying to be like spooky scary.
No, it's just like weird.
Yeah.
But
that flashback occurs several times in the movie. But yeah, Nancy is, from here on out through the movie, Nancy is basically in a drug-induced haze. I didn't really know who Sandra Dee was. Like, I know that she was like in some beach blanket bingo type movies.
Oh, okay.
Kind of a teeny bopper star.
Yeah.
I had to make sure that Sandra Dee was the actual actress being drugged, because I'm like, why would you put her so high on the billing to drug her and give her like nothing to do?
1970.
Yeah, I guess.
I think it's just 1970, and that's just what and I think just women didn't,
Could have just been a mannequin for most of the movie.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
But I mean, women's roles, like, oh, I have 3 scripts here. 2 of them involve druggings, and one of them I'm a mute, so it's just the patriarchal system of Hollywood filmmaking at the time, for sure, played into that role. Wilbur gets real creepy. He asks Nancy about sex, and it's just like, hey, do you like sex? And she's just like, there's this weird conversation, and it is, I've said it before with some films. I think the comeback, but like it's like lascivious in nature. It's almost like this undertone of salaciousness that we get to later with the ritual itself. So there has to be some kind of culty sex thing going on here.
Yes. Within all of this too, when they first get to when Nancy and Wilbur get to the house, they, old Watley he's always panicked and always warning people, and nobody listens to him.
Yeah.
But he's there, and he's aged because, it's not, years have passed. But I mean, from the first time we saw him when Lavinia was giving birth, but he's old Watley now. And they're just like, yeah, whatever. They just kind of hand wave him. And then the scene you're talking about, as far as them, Wilbur saying the weird things like, oh, how do you feel about sex? Within that time, Professor Armitage and Elizabeth have arrived in Dunwich.
Yeah.
Old Watley is like, get off my land,
Yeah.
And then after the whole sex talk on the hill, they come back down, and Elizabeth and Armitage are like, okay, well, we're going to go home, Nancy. And Nancy's like, no, I'm staying with Wilbur.
Yeah. And they're like, they're skeptical because Wilbur's so
creepy as hell.
But also, like, I think old man Whately would be more effective if what he said made sense. Like, by the 9 circles of the moon.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you warning me of?
Yeah. If he just took a deep breath, wrote his feelings.
Wilbur's not good. You all need to leave.
Yeah. Here's some proof.
Yeah.
Instead of me standing here with this big fly swatter.
It's true. Now look upon my scepter.
And his eyes are just wide open. His hair has not been combed in a long time.
So this is where we get, like, I think we get more insight into, like, Wilbur and his grandfather don't, like, agree with each other. I think old man Whately is more so interested in, he just wants everything to go back, maybe not to the way it was, but he wants the Whately, and I think we're tomato, Whately, Watley. I'm not sure what the exact pronunciation is. Do we want to just go with Watley?
That's fine.
So I think he wants the Watley lineage to just, like, end, and I think he just wants all of that to stop, and I don't think he wants, he's like, no more crazy rituals up on the cliffside. I'm done with that. We don't do that anymore.
He's seen some crazy stuff, and he knows that the family has a reputation.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that it's done is kind of, he comes across to me as a silly character, but realistically, if you saw some crazy cosmic stuff, I guess my eyes would be constantly open and, like, just wide open, and I would just be, like, running around in a cloak, like, no,
you'd go to the supermarket in a robe with a scepter and be like, hey.
Yes. Yeah.
Watch out for us.
Yeah, exactly. We're bad.
Yeah. Wilbur at some point tells Nancy about how his family was, they go through the town of Dunwich.
Yes.
And they're walking around, and it's, very 70s, I think it's a interesting part of the film because it takes us into modern life, whereas everything else is at the Texas Chainsaw Massacre house out in the hills. But they're walking around, and he just talks about how his family was persecuted by normies, but that his family believed that there's a race of beings that needed to be brought back. There was some kind of trial because a woman was used as a sacrifice. He's kind of just throwing this information out there, and Nancy's like, cool.
Well, she's barely awake.
Yeah,
she's true. Walking along, drool, like,
And I think he delivers all of this. He's like, yeah, they really didn't like us. And we
super unfair.
Yeah. Can't believe it. I was outraged. Armitage goes to the nearby doctor at this point. I think they're all kind of in the same area. Armitage and Elizabeth are exploring and questioning people. The doctor gives some insight on the monsters from the Necronomicon, but I don't know why Armitage wouldn't know that, because he just did a lecture on, like, folklore and monsters, and then he goes to see just, like, the physician in town, and he's like, yeah, I know about Cthulhu.
Well, the doctor gave birth, or not, doctor gave birth. The doctor delivered the babies.
Yeah, there was just something else in there that was about the Necronomicon in that book, and something that the doctor knew that I was like, that's kind of odd. I don't know what the...
Professor's like writing it down, like, ooh, I'll use this in my next lecture.
Yes, hey, this thing I know about, you know more of. The doctor's like, yes, also, you need more vitamin D. Elizabeth, it looked like I didn't catch it, but I think she's talking to the nurse outside.
Yes.
And then the nurse is like, you need to get your friend out of that house right now. I was at a party there last weekend, and it was no good. So now we get flashbacks to Old Man Whately running into town with his scepter. This is that part I was talking about. Because I think the doctor's telling Armitage this story. He's like, oh yeah, one time Old Man Whately came down, and you have like a nice sunny day. People are like at the checkout, and this old...
Yeah, and it's like a mercantile setup.
Yeah.
And he
comes running in with like a full black robe and a scepter. It looks insane. It looks so crazy.
And then all the townsfolk are just kind of like laughing and smiling at him. And as he's backing out of the mercantile, they're like just crowded around him, walking at the same pace. And it's like, it's just a weird... It's clear that nobody believes old Whately.
Yeah. And yet the doctor goes up there because he's like, all right, I'll go humor you or whatever, and we'll go check this out. And he finds the Lavinia from the beginning.
I'll just say that it would have been a nice touch that as they're backing him out of the mercantile, he's like, actually, I do need insoles. And he like makes the purchase. And then they do the whole thing where they back him out.
I need that. Can I get 2 beets? I need 2 beets.
2 beets and some Dr. Scholl's.
Do you have leather strips?
Have you got those crispy onion things? They're so good on salads.
Trying to make chop suey tonight. Yog-Sothoth. Holy moly. Look at the price on rice. Oh. So one of the children the doctor finds when he goes up to the house with Old Man Whately is that one of them is stillborn, and then the other one is Wilbur. And they never discover who the father is, and they don't know who the 2 old women are. That's like... Yes,
and Lavinia's in the she's been put away. She's gone mad.
And then they immediately cut to Armitage, and it almost seemed like the doctor, she was in the doctor's office because the cut is so quick that it goes right to whatever. It's an old-timey like psych ward, mental hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And Lavinia is in this room, and she's like raving mad, like she's crazy. And at some point they're like, she's 45 years old, but she looks like 107.
Yeah.
It's like Yog-Sothoth really left an imprint.
She looks like the I forget who the character was, but like the grandma lady on Addams Family.
Yeah.
Like just a shock of gray and white hair that
Yep. And then we cut to Wilbur, and he's re-drugged Nancy again. Hold on. That cat from the last episode is back. Deanie, you get out of here.
I think we got a mascot.
Yeah, Wilbur's re-drugged Nancy. And then they get into like crazy sex ritual.
Oh, yeah. I want to kind of dig into this a little bit.
Yeah.
So I think that the ceremony part was, it looked cool, like the altar, all that, it looked like it might have been a matte painting. But yeah, I mean, this part was extremely heavy with the psychedelic imagery, the not ready for primetime players that are just kind of like, they have the makeup on, some robes, and it's sort of like just this big orgy scene, but it's clear that to me, it looked like Wilbur was forcing himself on.
It was a rape scene. It was like a drug rape scene.
Yeah.
So I don't, and that's always, it's the horrible choice of directors and writers to include those things in films to make the characters more diabolical, I guess, or that it's more
like you have to see every part of it to understand. Like I think we're all intelligent enough that things happen off screen.
Yeah. And all I could think too is like, it's always it's always this type of thing where you've got cult leader guy has to, subjugate a woman in this way. Like, why does Yog-Sothoth care? Why does Cthulhu care? Like, you know what I mean? Like that. Why does that have to be part of the ritual? Are they like these cosmic beings are like, don't forget that really gross part.
We spoke about humanoids from the deep early on in this episode. The thing about that, one of the things about that movie that is so in tune with what you just said is the creatures are these like, they're like these sea creatures, and the costumes are pretty good. They look like, these fish people.
It's probably why I remember that movie. But also a few other reasons.
As they attack the women, every single time a woman gets attacked by one of these creatures in that movie, they rip their shirt, so their boobs are exposed. Like the old gods are like, we are very scary monsters. Also, let's see them boobs.
Yes, I don't understand that part of it. And that it could only be, if that is the ritual, it was amended by a human man.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, this ritual looks fine in paper. Well, we need one more part.
Yeah.
But it's also, it's just to blame, 70s directors and not even 70s, 80s and 90s. They need to inject that kind of, it's crap. It's just, it's like lazy and it's offensive and it doesn't add anything to the film outside of like perversion and creepiness. And it just doesn't. So seeing that is just kind of like, okay, she could have been like drugged on an altar. They perform the ritual, move on. But then there's always got to be some kind of like sexual exploitation element to it. Regardless, it gets psychedelic. It gets crazy. Elizabeth, at this point, while they're doing the ritual up there, Elizabeth goes to investigate the Whatley Manor, and then
old Whatley's like, you can't go in there. Yeah. And once again, she kind of pushes him aside. He's like, hey, but he doesn't,
Please listen to me. Yeah. You all must listen to me.
And meanwhile, the every once in a while, the movie would just cut to a door upstairs trying to open, like just rattle, 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 and it wouldn't. So Elizabeth goes upstairs to the door.
The parallels to Haunted Palace are like tenfold because there's a door in that film where one of the parents, their children is like a monster.
Right. Yeah.
And so it cuts to the door just every once in a while in the film. It'll cut to a door that's just rattling because I think the director was like, what's something really cheap we can do to make this, to add this element. And so you have a cosmic super being that's locked in an upstairs. And Old Man Whately's like, you know what's going to stop him? Brass. He'll never be able to break out this wooden door. But she does go up there and she opens it. And then she is savaged by the invisible cosmic entity
by lights and what looks like tentacles and just
there's tentacles.
There's just so much going, and I have to say that that's actually pretty effective. As cheap as it looks, these cosmic beings, we shouldn't as humans be able to comprehend what they are. So I guess it's probably the best way to do it. But it's also like, all right, we got some glue and some canvas. Sure. Yeah.
I call it's a Technicolor death sequence.
It is, yeah.
But it is, I mentioned it in the beginning, I think it pairs really well with Lovecraftian horror and this kind of the cosmic idea, the I don't know what we want to call that, but the old gods and the psychological nature of this horror. To have Roy G. Biv on screen in like crazy lenses and shadows and tentacle puppets, I think it's really effective. I think it works because how else would you show that?
Yeah,
like you're saying, like how else?
There was something very Star Trek, the original series, and Doctor Who about the monster.
Yeah,
it was very yeah. And Doctor Who actually, now that I think about it, there is a lot of like 70s and early 80s Doctor Who that kind of looks like the Dunwich Horror.
There was, and the next film, there's something with Doctor Who, but it's very tangential, I guess. The Peter Cushing, I think, being on a Doctor Who episode. I don't remember what that was, but yeah, there is that relationship to Doctor Who and the psychedelia of the early seasons and that sort of thing with but also with Star Trek OG, like you're talking about. How many times are there like they've put on little like colored lenses on like a spinning thing in a room like behind a light, and it starts rotating, and then William Shatner's just standing in front of it like
he's paralyzed. Yeah.
So Wilbur and Nancy come back from the ritual. Old Man Whately is there, and he starts arguing with Wilbur about how Elizabeth showed up, and then his twin brother, who's invisible, escaped. And then Old Man Whately dies because he falls down the flight of stairs.
Wilbur pushes him, I think.
Oh, I didn't see. I think I looked down to take notes, and I looked up and he's laying on the floor, and I'm like, oh, he finally did it. Slipped on a banana peel and went down the stairs. But I guess that would make sense because now we've pushed Wilbur into a point where it's, he's violent, he's gross, he's doing things that
nothing will stop him from his final goal.
And it's true. From like one of the last shots of the film proves that he will not stop no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
And then this gets to my favorite part of the film. Wilbur takes old Whatley's body to the cemetery and tries to bury him with like a Whatley family ritual. And as he's doing this, townspeople start showing up, and you get this really like Wilbur's not going to leave the burial ritual. He's like reading from the book. But then you get this kind of like somewhat panned out shot. It's like a long shot. Everybody's kind of shoulder to shoulder. It's like you said stage play-y like before, but they're all kind of shoulder to shoulder. And there's this one like hillbilly jock dude who's like standing in front of him and he's like, you better stop that ritual. And Wilbur's like, I have to finish the burial ritual. And he's like, no, you don't. And then they start like pushing each other and they're like shoving. It's like high school. It's just so like,
yeah. They like knock the book out of the way, like, and he's still trying to just read it. Like he knows all the townspeople are around him. He's still trying to just go with it.
You kind of see they don't get into it, but you see the kind of that Wilbur isn't some like he's not some I don't even know a priest of Yog-Sothoth who has magic powers and is this intimidating force. He's just like a guy with bell bottoms who's kind of a creep, and he's just trying to like, and he's burying his grandpa. And so a bunch of people show up with like shotguns and flannel, and they're like, we're going to kick your ass, Wilbur. He's like, please don't.
I don't know. If Wilbur were around in present day, he would be sitting at a keyboard in his basement, just that kind of a creepy, like just never goes outside, has a lot of strong opinions.
He would be on the message boards, sure. Yeah. He would. It's at this point that
they have to just leave the
they do.
They just kind of leave.
I think the sheriff is like, all right, break it up. Yeah. Like, Wilbur, you can't do this, but you guys can't also bully him. Yeah. So there's like he
seems kind of fair.
He does. I think he was. Wilbur's like, right, you're right. Yeah. So now Wilbur goes and he breaks into the music, or he breaks into the college to get the Necronomicon out of the glass case.
And this is my favorite part of the movie.
Do you want to explain this part?
I think I'll explain it more in depth. Honestly, no. I guess once I explain it here, it doesn't. But at a security guard, basically, Wilbur is about to take the Necronomicon, or I think he gets it out of the case, and then a security guard just kind of walks into frame of the door, and he's like, put it back. And then I would say for a good minute and a half, they have a pretty good fight scene. So. Like they're throwing each other over tables.
It's like The Quiet Man with John Wayne.
Through tables. Like they're just really getting it. And then, the security guard runs at Wilbur, and Wilbur's got a sharp implement, and he just stabs himself, basically.
It was very close to They Live, I would say. It was.
I mean, it's not that it didn't cross my mind, but it's like it was like 7 minutes short. Like if they really wanted to make an impact, they would have had that
and less engaging
to the end of the movie.
Yeah, they are like. There's one point where they're struggling and they're like rolling across the table, and they like land awkwardly on a couple of chairs. It's very convincing.
Yeah.
And they're like suplexing or like body slamming each other through stuff. And, yeah, it's pretty great.
But the security guard dies in the tussle.
Yeah.
And at this time, what's going on with
Lavinia? It cuts to Lavinia, who has died.
Yeah.
And she's her true age, so she's actually like really, really old.
Mm-hmm.
And then we cut to Wilbur's preparing Nancy for the final sacrificial ritual to bring forth Yog-Sothoth.
And it's not an embellishment to say that Nancy has not done anything in this movie. Like everything that we're talking about as far like she's next to Wilbur, but she doesn't have many lines.
Yeah.
She just kind of stares blankly and is under Wilbur's control.
Yeah. And we also get it's kind of cutting to like people walking around in Dunwich, and then Wilbur's invisible brother happening upon them, and then we get more like technicolor death sequences. There's a few of these where there's like a hunter in the woods or something, and then there's like somebody out for a walk,
and then a couple people in their home. But they utilize like a wind machine, I guess, but the wind with some like scary alien noises.
Yeah, I love the alien.
I feel like it's pretty effective. Again, I don't feel like their budget was crazy big, and using the wind to show that the brother's on his way, I feel like it's effective enough.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I was okay with all that stuff. I think the invisible POV, it's also doing something different. We talked about Dr. Phibes, and in Dr. Phibes, for me, one of the best death sequences was the guy with the frog helmet or mask, I should say. And it cuts to just kind of like a POV shot of him walking up the stairs. And really nowhere else in the film do they do that. So just like a nice little added element. And same here, like they do a POV shot. It's not just like somebody standing on a road and there's an invisible force and they're like, whoa, this invisible force is antagonizing me. There's literally like a POV to it.
Yeah.
And that's cool. I think I'm okay with all that stuff. I think it works out.
And they give you a little bit of the monster when the door opens, when Elizabeth gets killed, and they give you a little bit of monster at the end. So I think, it bookends the whole thing where it's like, you kind of know what it is. So it's enough.
Yeah. I say the estate is consumed in flames as Wilbur's twin goes through Dunwich, killing many people. Is it the Whatley house that burns? I just don't remember. I said the estate goes up in flames, but that could be a different house.
Well, the two of the people that were at the breaking up the ceremony or the burial earlier, their house gets destroyed in a some Technicolor havoc. I can't remember if the Whatley house is burned or destroyed.
It would be apropos considering the types of films we cover on this podcast.
Yeah. If they didn't, they made a mistake.
They did.
Yep.
They did. They had Vincent Price was on call. They're like,
what would he do?
Well, hey, how would this movie end?
I
don't think what's that?
WWVD.
That's right. The VCU.
That's right.
Price universe. I think we didn't mention that Professor Armitage is played by Ed Begley. And he's very miscast.
Very.
I think he's very miscast in this movie. Yeah. He's like jovial. He's very, he's got a big open face and he's like, hi.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, when he's taking notes in the doctor's office, it's borderline, I don't know, he's probably intelligent. He was an intelligent guy in life, I'm sure, but he just seems very like country dumb, just kind of like kind because he's not discerning.
He's not threatening.
Yeah. And so when we get to this last scene, Wilbur's trying to sacrifice Nancy.
Yeah, all of a sudden.
Armitage has magic spells.
Yeah, he's got incantations. He's just got off the dome, just like...
So he's getting... That's what I was confused by, because it was like he's getting information from the doctor about Whatleys and the Necronomicon.
I think he's just
But then he shows up and he's like, hey, by the way, check out this book of spells I got from a different college.
Yeah, Armitage shows up at the altar at the end after after leaving Lavinia's. They decide they need to go get the Necronomicon. They realize the Necronomicon's been taken, so that's what leads Armitage to the altar. And Wilbur's already like he's just Yog-Sothothing like crazy. He's got the whole thumbs coming up the side of his head.
Can that be something new because we're gonna run into cult leader priests again on this podcast? Yep. They're Yog-Sothothing.
Maybe YGing. Yagging.
They are yagging so hard.
Yagging.
They are yagging. And they get into like a spell casting.
Like a wizard battle.
It's a wizard battle.
Yeah. That's how I have it written down.
Ed Begley's dressed like he's got dressed like Kolchak a little bit. He's got like a hat and like a suit coat.
He kind of looks like who's the bad guy? It's a Wonderful Life.
Mr. Potter?
Yeah, kind of reminds me of Mr. Potter, but he's a good guy and he knows spells.
Yeah. And they're like
Bailey. Zabadoo.
Yeah, that's Adam Sandler.
It probably was.
So they're casting spells at each other, and then Wilbur bursts in the flames and falls off the side of the cliff. And there's like a long shot, but it's like from above looking down into the sea, and his body just kind of falls past the camera going toward the sea. And it's just like it's in one position. It's like they caught a dummy on fire and threw it over, but the dummy doesn't move at all. It just fell into one static.
And
wonderful.
It
was
wonderful. The dummy looks funny.
It was wonderful. I loved it very much.
For the last scene to be impactful. Yeah.
A flaming mummy body falls off and it's not moving and it just plummets. It was wonderful. Yeah, the movie needed it so bad because at that point I was just kind of like, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And I will say, too, that there was, Nancy during the ceremony, just laying there as usual. But she's just kind of like writhing.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like
nothing.
At the very but at the very, very end, while Wilbur is falling off the cliff, off to the right of the shot, there's like a ball with tentacles that appears for like 3 seconds.
Yeah.
And then it just disappears.
Oh, yeah, that's right. There's yes.
Clearly,
right.
it's Yog-Sothoth about to come through the portal.
Yes, I think you had mentioned something that was like, oh, this is the shot of the film, and it's like
Yes.
honestly, it looked kind of like one of the monsters from Into the Mouth of Madness that are chasing Sam Neill through the hallway. It's just got it's just like a face and tentacles around it. And
Agreed.
It's like,
yep.
But like done by Jim Henson when he's overworked. not a lot of life to it. Yeah. It's there's creativity there, but not a lot of life.
Him and Frank Oz did coke for a weekend. Is that what we're talking about overall?
Yes.
I was going to mention, you mentioned In the Mouth of Madness. I thought it looked like, it reminded me of, isn't there a D&D monster called the Beholder?
Yeah. Yeah, it was Beholder-ish.
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah. I'm glad we talked about the end of the film because I was trying to think about how to explain that Ed Begley shows up and catches Wilbur on fire by using magic spells. I just couldn't.
And Wilbur, I will say during that scene, the final wizard battle, Wilbur, his eye, he keeps holding his head every time Armitage says something. Uh-huh. And his eyes are kind of his eyes are going all over the place. And he's like, it's kind of funny facial work. It's
also kind of interesting that Ed Begley's a more powerful wizard than Wilbur.
Well, I mean, Armitage has access to the Necronomicon all the time.
Oh, that's
and
fair.
Wilbur keeps saying, "Can I please borrow your book?
Hey, I want to learn those spells that I've seen you casting in your backyard.
If we want to have a good battle, I'm going to need some more spells."
Oh, no, sorry. I'm going to be late for dinner. I have to cast magic spells for target practice today. All right, Mr. Armitage. When does he have time to practice? I set up my basement with a few targets, and I blow them up with my magic spells. And then we have our twist ending. I think while it was playing, I said, not the 2001 ending, and we get Nancy as an evil Watley baby.
They're walking down the steps of the altar, and then it just does a zoom up shot of her where her belly would be.
Yeah.
And then, it's the 2001 baby.
Yep, and then it's
Star Child.
Star Child.
Yep.
It's there's a baby in her womb.
Yep.
And then it's the shocking ending. So what that means is in 20 years or so, another Wilbur will be in Dunwich to poorly fight a guard.
Another feckless wizard will just not get his job done. Yep.
He will poorly perform a ritual that will just barely work, and then he'll get caught on fire and fall off a cliffside again.
Yep.
So scary. Watch out. It's not really a Michael Myers ending there. Adam, anything you want to add to the Dunwich Horror?
I feel like what we just said about this movie was before we started this podcast, it just feels like there's not a lot to the movie. So I'm surprised that we had as much to say as we did.
I think our asides were about a lot of other movies, but I think we made it work. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to do 5 question trivia.
I think 4
question trivia. And then we will get to our likes, dislikes, and possibly our favorite moments from the film if we have one. So we will be right back. Hello and welcome back to Forgotten Frights. I'm sitting here with Adam.
Hey, Josh.
Oh, hey, I'm Josh, and I'm sitting here with Adam.
Hey, Josh.
Good. I'm glad we redid that.
Yeah.
We needed to.
Every once in a while, he'll wink to me what's my name?
Force you to say it. If you don't remember, I'm going to be mad. What am I, Wilbur Watley? Hey, what's my name? We are reviewing the 1970 horror film, The Dunwich Horror. We are going to do a 4-question true or false trivia game, of which Adam is going to read the questions. I'm going to try to answer to the best of my ability. We should hopefully give us some additional insight into the film.
I also have, I think I have 2 true and false, and I have a couple of I have one multiple choice and then one you just have to tell me what the answer is.
I like this.
I got quite the variety.
I like this. Okay. Adam, when you are ready, feel free to begin reading questions and I will listen quietly.
All right. I am ready. If you are ready, I am ready. The first question is a true or false question. This movie, The Dunwich Horror, was Sandra Dee's final film.
I'm going to say false because she seems young. And I would say it's her first film.
You are correct. It is false. Her last movie is a 1983 movie named Lost. I don't know. I don't have any information on that movie. No, she had been quite the star in the 60s, but I read some backstory as far as her acting career, and she essentially had done like a dozen to 15 movies with a company, and she got to the end of all of those and said that everything that she had done was essentially crap. She did not like it.
Really?
And this movie was more or less a rejection of those movies because she was kind of a teeny bopper star type of thing, you know, and she wanted to, you know, have a harder edge with this movie, which I feel like it just collapsed because her role in this movie was nothing. It was a non-issue.
Yeah.
But one of the quotes she had that I picked out here towards the end of her career was she felt like a has-been that never was.
Oh,
isn't that sad?
That's sad.
Yeah.
You think the interviewer was like, you say you've been in all these bad films, but you were in the Dunwich Horror.
Yeah, and then she just left.
She didn't respond.
She's like, I'm done with this interview. I was told you wouldn't talk about this. Okay, so you 1 out of 4 so far.
If I may too, and I don't know if you have this in there, but this is an AIP film, which also did Theater of Blood. Is that right? I believe it is.
It could be.
That was like the last film before Vincent Price left AIP Pictures.
And
yeah, and he called.
Yeah, he did. He said some nasty stuff.
He called them cocksuckers. So I wonder if when Sandra Dee was talking about it, maybe she was in.
This was a different production company.
It was. So then, she went.
This movie was she signed on for this movie specifically because, and I forget the other company that she had worked for.
Yeah.
But she was not happy with.
So she went from a bad production company to AIP.
Yep. She's like, can't go wrong now.
All right, go ahead.
Number 2, Dean Stockwell, who plays Wilbur Whatley in this film.
Yes.
He was also in the late 80s television series Quantum Leap.
Is that true or false?
Nope. But it is.
That's a statement.
It does tell me something about how you're going to do with this question.
Okay. Because I know the name.
Do you remember the premise of Quantum Leap?
Yeah. So we've got a guy who travels into different people's bodies.
Yes, across time.
Across time.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he has to wrap up their problem in approximately 45 minutes, or he doesn't leap into the next body.
Okay. That's a weird premise.
So Dean Stockwell plays Al, which is one of the people who worked on the Quantum Leap project, and he appears to the main character, Sam, as a hologram, and he kind of helps him through the show.
Okay. I don't remember that at all.
But then this question is going to fall. What was Al's high-tech computer that he used to help Sam through his each episode?
It's just open-ended.
And I'm going to give you a hint.
Okay.
The computer's name was a popular 80s comic strip. A daily newspaper.
Oh, okay.
It's not Marmaduke.
I didn't sleep super well last night. I mean, I think I slept well enough, but I probably could have slept a few extra hours. Windows 11? Was it called Windows 11?
It was not, no.
Okay. Well, then. I guess I don't know. And I'm trying to think of even the first thing I thought was Marmaduke.
It was the computer's name was Ziggy.
Yeah, I would have never got that.
Gotcha.
Would have never got that. I think that's a very weird. I know the initial premise of Quantum Leap, but so he's got a hologram that travels, is interdimensional.
So Al,
or is that on his person?
No, he shows up, so he can kind of like pinpoint where Sam is in history, and he can appear to Sam via hologram. Like he's got this watch thing that he beep boops, and then he shows up.
Is Quantum Leap all one timeline, or does he travel through the multiverse?
I believe it's one timeline.
So he's just like, he goes back to like Abe Lincoln, and then he goes back to JFK, and then like that sort of thing?
Yes.
And it's all in the same.
And I believe that it's all in the United States.
Wow.
So time specific, country specific.
I bet that'd be a fun show to watch, though.
It's pretty sci-fi.
Yeah.
Yep.
I bet that'd be fun.
Yep.
Okay.
This film was originally supposed to star which two of these following screen legends? Boris Karloff, Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee, John Carradine.
John Carradine's one of them for sure. And then I would say Boris Karloff.
I put John Carradine on there because I knew you'd pick him, and it's false.
It seems like, John Carradine, as pointed out in the past, would do anything for money.
Mm-hmm. And
anything.
His whole, like him as Old Watley would have been perfect.
Yeah.
Great
I thought he'd be
voice.
Wilbur's, but I mean, that's fine too.
No, it's actually Boris Karloff and Christopher Lee.
What would be the Christopher Lee as Wilbur? Or Christopher Lee as Old Man Watley?
Or maybe Armitage.
Oh, I see.
I think Boris Karloff as Old Watley would have been good.
Did you like that Ed Begley was, I mean, horribly miscast, but did you like that Armitage was an older guy and Wilbur was the younger guy? Because it seems like that should be in reverse.
No, because he's a professor.
Yeah.
I feel like being that, Armitage was a professor, he needed, a little further into the 70s, then every professor is wearing, tweed jacket and jeans, cool as hell.
And they're like
35, 40.
Yeah. But he's just like old and like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's why his spell power is so strong.
Is that how that works?
When a professor is young, they haven't yet. I mean, I don't have to tell you the rest of this.
I love this lore. This is this lore we've created. So the older you are as a wizard, the more powerful you are, according to the Dunwich Horror.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, that's correct.
Very cool.
Yes.
I like that.
Armitage is...
so Wilbur wouldn't have a lot of power because he's so young.
Right. He's still trying to learn.
I don't like this. I don't like this checks out.
Wilbur's metachlorian count is way low. All right. So funny. That's you got 2 wrong so far, 1 right.
Okay.
A remake of the Dunwich Horror was made in 2009.
Mm-hmm.
Dean Stockwell was in the film, who played Wilbur Watley, this time as Old Watley.
In 2009?
Mm-hmm.
I want to say true because I'd love to check it out, but I'm going to go with false.
I will give you that because I worded this question weird. So it is false. He did not play Old Watley. He played Armitage.
But there is a remake.
And Stockwell, the guy who plays Wilbur Watley.
Yeah. Okay. So he's like, I'm old enough to play this powerful wizard because I have years.
Yes.
Under
he
my
had
belt.
30 more years.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yep. And it's on YouTube, and I think it's got like 170 views.
Oh, no. So I wonder why they thought they needed to remake this movie.
Like I said, it looks like it's like a student film.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And so Dean Stockwell.
But I haven't seen it, so I don't know that for sure.
He's a John Carradine. He'll do anything for money.
Just another couple of so essentially you got 2 out of 4.
Okay.
Another fact I picked up was Mario Bava, who directed Black Sabbath and Black Sunday, wanted to have this screenplay called Scarlet Friday and have it as a trilogy of those horror movies.
Those 3.
Yeah.
So the Dunwich Horror
would be Scarlet Friday.
So then it'd be Black Sabbath, Black Sunday, Scarlet Friday.
Yes.
Why?
I don't know.
Why would Mario Bava do that?
I'm not sure.
Don't you have enough already, Mr. Bava?
And
so he just thought it was a cool. He just like it's got a ring to it.
Yeah. And I can't remember if this was part of that. I can't imagine that this was part of that, the Mario Bava Scarlet Friday part, but I read something else where Peter Fonda had also been looked at to play Wilbur Whatley.
Yeah, this is getting to one of my criticisms of not necessarily trivia like that, because I use it too, but that so often you see like, oh, did you know that, who did you say?
Peter Fonda.
You said Peter Fonda was considered for this role.
Yeah.
And it's like,
where does that even come from?
So was there a casting agent who just thought about it? I was like,
oh, by the way.
Yeah, that would be good. And he's like, but we'll never get him. Moving on with life. Right. So then years later, he's like, I thought about his name, but we never approached him. So
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
good point. And then also it's like how many changes does the script and the cast go through before they finally land on something?
Yeah. So it's like, oh, Sean Connery was considered for this role. But like considered?
For Chewbacca, yeah. It's like
somebody was like, would he be good? Nah. So now that's trivia.
Well, write it down in that book. So that's forever. Yeah.
that book of just useless movie facts. Okay, cool. Adam, I do have some gaffes here. Some errors, if you'd be interested in hearing them. Let me see what I'm dealing with here. Oh, there's only a couple. So I'm looking at this is the segment on IMDb goofs, and there's only 2 of them here. This one is revealing mistakes. The length of Nancy's fingernails changes repeatedly during the sex ritual. They're noticeably longer in shots where Sandra Dee's face is visible, implying that a body double with shorter nails was used for the racier portions of the scene. So even Sandra Dee was like, ugh. It's like Roger Corman showed up and was like, hey, have you guys done the ritual yet?
Yeah. Are you stark naked?
Yeah.
Because that was part of the deal.
And she was like, body double, going to lunch. And the other one is character error. Every person in the movie pronounces the town's name as Dunwich. In fact, it is pronounced Dunwich. I just learned that. With a silent W. Though, to be fair, it's not uncommon for U.S. cities named for those in other countries to be given American pronunciations. E.g., Cairo, Illinois is pronounced Cairo, not Cairo.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't even know how true that is.
Yeah. It was right under the Peter Fonda reference.
Yes, it was. It was. But I think everybody just calls it Dunwich. And
I've never heard it called Dunwich.
I've never heard it called Dunwich.
But if Dunwich was with like a European accent, it does sound very...
It's Dunwich.
Yeah.
It's like when they say St. John Smythe instead of Sir John Smith.
Yeah.
So it's the English. We will never forgive them.
Could we consider maybe doing a little intro for Goofs and Gaffs? I like that section.
You do? Okay.
Just a little...
Should we do...
Goofs and Gaffs?
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Could we just do Benny Hill music?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because... Yeah.
Yeah.
Our intentions were noble, but we really messed up.
If I could... Oh, you know what we should do? Is we should just get audio of Christopher Lee being like, I'm not a horror icon. And it's like, Goofs and Gaffs.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe we'll do that. I'm batting like 10 out of 10 now. I brought up that Christopher Lee trivia every episode.
That's all right. I had my fingers just into the couch trying not to talk about Rob Zombie.
Is there anything?
No.
Okay.
No.
Because it just
like I'm not even a fan of Rob Zombie anymore, and it's like it just came up so many times where I'm like, why am I doing this?
It is. I mean, that's his like shtick. Is he's like, yeah, I loved whatever
spooky old movies.
Yeah, spooky old movies. And now that's in everything.
Yeah,
and so you can't get away from it.
Yeah,
because it's his like personality.
Yeah.
Shame on you, Rob Zombie. Mostly for the films you made, but then also for your likes and interests.
You know, it's a little known fact that Peter Fonda was actually the first drummer for White Zombie.
Did you know he was also considered for the role of Captain Spaulding? All right, let's get into likes, dislikes, and favorite scene. I was thinking this time around we'll just try to see as far as flow goes. One of us starts. We'll just go through our likes, our dislikes, our favorite scene, favorite kill, I guess would be favorite part of the movie, and then we'll just revert to the other person. That way we don't have to do the back and forth.
I'll start. I liked the interpretation of the creature and the, you know, just the way that the cosmic horror is kind of shown on screen. I think being that it's such an abstract thought, I think they did a good job with it. I thought that the acting overall, like the characters, this was a very slow movie, and I feel like the acting was it was fair. It was fine. I feel like the best actor or the best character for me was old Watley, because at least he was like, you know, things got to happen like right now.
Urgency.
Yeah. I do remember watching this movie very, very early on. Like I was probably a preteen, and I thought just the fact that it was called the Dunwich Horror, it would be a very scary movie. And I remember not being very interested when I saw it back then. So, I mean, like I said, I think the psychedelic nature of the movie was kind of cool, but yeah, it was kind of a slog.
Yeah.
Slog-sothoth.
It was a Yog-Sothoth.
That's right.
Did you have a moment that you enjoyed?
The fight.
Oh, that's right.
The fight was great.
The monster.
I mean, yeah. If you only watch that part of the movie, I mean, it's like 2 minutes. You're in and out.
Yeah, it's because it's actually surprising too when Ed Begley shows up and starts casting spells. Very strange. I just said my likes. The setting of the film is very cool. It's insular. I like that they spend time at the house. I like Dunwich. I'm calling it Dunwich. I don't care. But love the 70s aesthetic. I think all of that's really cool. I think when they're walking through town, there's something about that I really appreciate. But I think it's got I think it's got some distinct feels and atmosphere, and I don't think they do it intentionally. I think it's just done because of the low budget, because of the type of, you know, how they're filming it. And so they unintentionally create this kind of vibe that I like. And then you could throw the 70 Technicolor death sequence and you just have something. You know, if they remove the cosmic horror, it's a movie about a crazy family in a mansion like Texas Chainsaw Massacre that are, you know, doing rituals and murdering people. I don't know. That's a cool idea. It's been done lots. So I think I said Wilbur is a creepy weirdo with purpose. Right from scene 1, he shows up and he's like, "Hey," and by the last scene, he's like, "I'm on fire."
Just quietly, I'm falling.
I'm falling to my death. So that's something I liked. Going back to Dr. Phibes, but it's like Dr. Phibes is evil, but you understand exactly what he's doing. You don't have to like pick hairs. His wife was killed. He's now getting revenge. Wilbur's like, my brother's an invisible monster. I need to go do a ritual and pull up the elder gods. But everything's like intertwined. Like it's clear that the family's this old ancient or they've been around for a long time, and there's like rituals and all this crap. So I like that. I said it's got like Last House on the Left vibes. Again, if you just remove the Lovecraftian nature of it, it's just a horror movie. Dislikes, the film is clearly from its era. So getting to the 70s, it is very 70s psychedelic. And so I think my dislikes mostly there's just pros and cons to that. And then Ed Begley was just miscast. And I don't think the acting otherwise was really that great. I think Wilbur's all right. But, it's very, if there was somebody doing an understated performance, that it would be Dean Stockwell as Wilbur. I would be interested to see what his Professor Armitage is.
Put the book down. It's my book.
Hey, I have magic spells now, but for good.
I got my non-slip shoes. I'm not falling off this cliff.
Hey, will you take this Necronomicon back to the library? Thank you. Did I even do... No, I didn't do a best death or moment. Mine still says Frog Mask from Dr. Phibes, so
carried over.
It carried over. So I still like that one the best.
What time period was this movie set in?
I think it was like 1970.
Okay.
Or late 60s, right? Because I just from the college alone, I think the college seems very like they just got out of some kind of history class where he was talking about the Vietnam War.
Were they talking about Vietnam?
Were they?
I
don't know. It just seems like it, doesn't it? It got out of
yeah.
And he had a couple of there was a couple of vets were in the class too, and they were like,
yeah,
born on the 4th of July.
Yeah.
Like, so I think so.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. Where else would you set this film?
Well, they're in the they're in the Watley house, and when they're in there, it's like, I don't know, could be 1940.
Yeah.
I mean, the architecture in the town doesn't look terribly modern even for 1970 standards.
Yeah, I think as far as setting goes, it doesn't really matter when this movie was.
Yeah, true.
It could be anywhere between probably like you're saying, maybe 1940 to 1980.
Yeah.
It's not like if you change that's going to matter to the story. It's like everything's, even I would like to see the 2009. He's just texting, hey, can you drop the Necronomicon? TTYO. All right. Anything you'd like to add to the Dunwich Horror, Adam? Anything you wanted to say?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I think we've talked
enough.
We've talked enough.
Do you think last thing, and I might even end up cutting this before I give our farewell, but when we first started doing the podcast, it's Forgotten Frights. It's like, ooh, should this film be remembered or should it be forgotten? Is that something we even need to do, or how do you feel about just doing the likes and dislikes? Does that matter?
Like as far as us recommending it?
That's the right. Yeah. Do people need to dig this film up? You know what I mean? Like, should that be a thing we do, or does that not? Does it matter?
I think that it's such a vague way of thinking about things that it's almost pointless, because this movie is a slog, but on the other hand, if you're a Lovecraft completionist, maybe you do want to watch it.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I think it's different for everybody for different reasons.
Yeah, a slog-sothoth.
But I ain't never watching this shit again.
And with that, good night and good fright.